At the United Nations, US President Donald Trump has launched a blistering attack on European countries, accusing them of destroying their own societies through uncontrolled migration and a high-cost green energy transition. President Trump also told the UN General Assembly it's time to end what he called the failed experiment of open borders and accused the UN of facilitating what he called an invasion of Western countries. In his wide-ranging speech, the US President also claimed that climate change was the greatest con job ever.
World leaders are supposed to speak for 15 minutes at the General Assembly. Donald Trump spoke for almost an hour, using the occasion to denounce all countries, but especially European ones, for what he called their open borders approach to migration.
Europe is in serious trouble. They've been invaded by a force of illegal aliens like nobody's ever seen before. Illegal aliens are pouring into Europe. Nobody's doing anything to change it, to get them out. It's not sustainable. And because they choose to be politically correct, they're doing just absolutely nothing about it.
He also denounced the transition to green energy as a scam and urged states to move back to fossil fuels.
Europe, on the other hand, has a long way to go, with many countries being on the brink of destruction because of the green energy agenda. And I give a lot of credit to Germany. Germany was being led down a very sick path, both on immigration, by the way, and on energy. They were going green and they were going bankrupt.
And he said, recognizing the state of Palestine rewarded Hamas.
Some of this body is seeking to unilaterally recognize a Palestinian state. The rewards would be too great for Hamas terrorists for their atrocities. This would be a reward for these horrible atrocities.
Immediately afterwards, the Taoiseach had this reaction.
We don't have open borders. That's the first point I would make. So the premise that Europe has open borders is not the case. We've just signed an EU asylum pact. So Europe doesn't have open borders. Ireland doesn't have open borders. We control our borders. I mean, I'm convinced by the science on climate change. President Trump is not. That's not new. He has made that point repeatedly.
This is the first day of the high-level week, and President Trump has just thrown a massive rock in the pond of international diplomacy.
And joins us now from the United Nations. Quite the speech there, Sean. We heard the Taoiseach's reaction. What's the wider reaction been like?
Well, I think they're all a bit stunned at the moment, but like the Taoiseach downplaying it. I mean, the Taoiseach said, we've heard all this before, there's nothing new in this. He's been saying these kind of things for years. Yes, that's true, but coming to this particular platform on this particular day, addressing all of those world leaders, all of those European leaders in particular, which he singled out for the treatment today, and also talking directly over their heads to the people in European countries. He is exporting MAGA ideology into those countries, particularly in Europe, around two of his signature themes: migration control and boosting fossil fuel, and denouncing green energy platforms. And like it or not, for these European leaders, that does throw down a gauntlet. We've seen this consistently from the Trump administration. Right at the start of the year, Vice President Vance travelling to the European Security Forum in Munich, saying similar message to European countries: your societies are being undermined by the way you have been conducting business economically and socially. We've also seen attacks from Elon Musk when he was involved in the administration, maybe on the way back, but now we're seeing it directly by the president as well. He is backing smaller political parties in Europe. We've seen that, whether that be the AfD in Germany or the Le Pen movement in France, and people who are thinking similar thoughts to himself. So whilst MAGA is in the ascendant here in the United States, he is definitely thinking about an export for his policies, tariffs or no tariffs. David?
OK, Sean Whelan at the United Nations in New York. Thank you.
A day after dozens of world leaders at the UN expressed their support for a Palestinian state, Israel's military is reported to be deepening its offensive in Gaza City. Local health officials say at least 22 people have been killed in Israeli fire across the enclave. They've also raised concerns that hospitals are set to run out of fuel in the coming days.
The Israeli government has demonstrated a clear and consistent intent to establish permanent control over the Gaza Strip while ensuring a Jewish majority in the occupied West Bank and inside Israel, according to a United Nations Commission of Inquiry. Our Europe editor Tony Connolly and cameraman Bram Verbecke report now from Taibe, a Christian village in the West Bank, where locals say they are facing increased attacks by Jewish settlers.
According to St John's Gospel, Jesus went to Taibe after raising Lazarus. Today it's the only exclusively Christian village in Palestine, but its 6th century church and hinterland have been subject to increasing attacks by Jewish settlers. Reviving the idea of a Palestinian state is a bittersweet prospect for the Greek Orthodox parish priest.
We are surrounded with about 9 Muslim villages here, but we live with them in fraternity life. We have a good relation with each other. We have no problem with them, only the settlers who are making trouble, mostly every day.
Nearby is where Nadim Khouri poured his life savings into the Middle East's first microbrewery. He'd returned from Boston in the early 90s, flush with the hope inspired by the Oslo Accords.
We came with the full energy to make the state of Palestine, to build and invest in our country.
The beer expanded to wine, spirits and olive oil, and his children joined him from the United States. But attacks by illegal settlers since October 7th included cutting off water springs, meaning the plant can only get water 1 day a week.
With beer, 95% of the beer is water. And so when they attack these springs and they break the water pipes, the computer systems, the cameras, it limits the water that we get even more.
Settlers from this hilltop village have been accused of stealing sheep, burning olive groves and attacking locals, with the Israeli military randomly blocking access in and out of Taibe. Every aspect of the exporting process has become increasingly problematic, not least because of the security situation, but also because everything has to be shipped through an Israeli port. This consignment for Denmark, for example, has been stuck here for 2 weeks.
It's exporting, going through additional security checks for no reason, more delays getting the permits to pass through the commercial checkpoints to get to the port.
Nadim believes the Israeli government is bent on annexing the West Bank and forcing out Palestinians, using settlers as a blunt instrument.
I have a family tree of 600 years in Taibe. I'm not going to leave my olive oil trees and my houses and my property. There is no way that I will go anywhere.
The promise of statehood is irresistible in a village that resonates with biblical echoes, but where opponents believe they have a God-given right to the land. Tony Connolly, RTE News, Taibe.